Good afternoon and welcome back. I'm here with Mark Olsztyn, who just showed up a few hours ago, so he's here to help rein in another year at cancer control for us. Mark goes back with us well back to what year? 19...
Oh, when did this thing start?
Yeah, when did all this start?
Well, I was diagnosed with my brain tumor in '97, and it had to happen. Let's see, I moved to Phoenix that year, and I think it was probably in maybe 98 or 99.
Wow.
When I started coming here.
Well over 13 years ago. As you can see, he's here with us still. You started coming to cancer control when?
Well, like I said, I think in '99 or...
Really? Some of the first ones with my dad way back then?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. So probably one of our longest thrivers that we have, like to say, not just surviving, but thriving. And I really come to that distinction here recently that it's one thing to survive, but it's another thing to really thrive. And that's a big difference too, because conventional oncology is, oh, you're surviving, so that's it. Well, but if you're laid up and unable to do anything else in your life, what was the point to a certain degree? Great, you're alive, but realizing that there was more to it. So, if you could just kind of give a refresher of your story, your diagnosis, how you came to Poly MVA, and how you feeling now.
All right. I think one of the hardest things to contend with when I got diagnosed was the hopelessness. It didn't seem like there was anybody out there that had survived a GBM, which was my original diagnosis.
And for glioblastoma
multiforme.
Which means when they say multiform, that just means it's in multiple locations?
To be honest, Al, I didn't really want to know that much about it.
Okay.
And I never researched that because it was just too terrifying.
Okay.
I only knew that it was the most common and the most lethal.
Okay. That's good enough.
Yeah, and I also knew that there was this product developed by a dentist named Dr. Merrill Garnett that was specifically formulated for GBMs.
Interesting, okay.
And so my dad got me on Poly. But I wasn't going to trust Poly because what was Poly? It was nothing in 1997. It wasn't even on the internet.
Well, and actually that version probably wasn't even the Poly. It was the previous version, which was the DNA reductase, I believe is what it was.
Oh, I don't know about that. I only know that they, in '91, they were testing subjects, and that was when I had my first brain tumor.
Okay.
I often think that if I had been one of those subjects, I don't think I would have had a recurrence.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think the most hopeful thing is I went from a grade 1 malignancy in '91 to a grade 4 in '97 in 6 years, and it's now been 16 years. That means that I think the average life expectancy for what I had, that prognosis, was 6 months to a year.
That's incredible.
And so with every passing scan, my hope would build, but I always felt that it could all come crashing down.
Sure.
And I still acknowledge that that could happen.
Okay.
I mean, no neurologist or no oncologist would ever tell me, "Oh, you're out of the woods." It's just not, it's not. They're not allowed to say that.
Right.
But I am feeling more confident.
And how do those oncologists and neurologists feel now? Do you ever still visit with them or talk to them? Do they look at you and just kind of just dismiss you, or do they embrace the fact that they help you to understand? And I'm asking that specifically for, I've been doing this with my family for as long as we have. You've been seeing it from your perspective, and my hope is that I feel it's changing. A lot of people are much more open and understanding of what used to be called alternative medicine. Now it's being called integrative medicine, and now utilizing it as the first line of defense before they go to the conventional, because it's typically so much safer and can be effective, or they're integrating the two or some combination of it. But it seems to be much more acceptable. Do you see that? Do you feel that?
I personally haven't experienced that. In my experience with my allopathic physicians, the chief of neuro-oncology at Barrow's Neurological Institute. Wasn't interested in what I was taking. He knew that it was I had a remarkable survival with it, but he said, keep on doing whatever it is you're doing. And I gave him a sheaf of information on Poly MVA because he was researching, as his role dictated, he was researching, what's the term, chemotherapeutic means to treat brain cancer and cancers in general.
Sure.
So what is poly but a safe chemotherapeutic means to treat cancer? And he just dismissed it. In fact, I saw my chart later, and he said, Mark is taking a non-FDA approved cancer nostrum. That's all he said. He dismissed it, called Poly MVA.
And it's interesting that I think from where it's come to now, people realize, and I have a better understanding of it personally as well through what I've, just the education and talking to doctors and realizing that, you know, cancer, I used to think of it as that foreign outsider, but it really is not, it really isn't. It's simply one of our own cells that is happening in all of our bodies, typically on a daily basis. Yet if all the right switches are turned on, it doesn't stay around. It goes away through the normal processes of our bodies keeping
metabolism,
being homeostasis. And but if things are out of balance, out of whack, whatever that might be, the immune system, not enough, too much chemicals or what have you, some environmental concerns.
Don't tell that to Keith Richards.
There you go.
He seems to be death-defying.
So, and that's where these nutritional supplements come in. So a lot of people ask, you know, is this a chemotherapy? No, it's not. If you want to think of your body that has natural chemotherapies, well then, okay, sure.
Yeah.
But you're giving your body support that it needs to do what it was designed and more than capable to do. And when you support any of those mechanisms, then health and or longevity and those types of things follow in place of it. So not like, whereas but chemotherapies, they don't do that. They are designed to do this action with,
Which is a cytotoxin.
right? And what type of pharmaceutical doesn't have some side effect that sometimes is worse than what it is you're treating, but they'll take the shot with it because it's what other alternatives they have to use. And when they don't have it, and you came to them saying, I want to try this. Okay. And like you said, he wrote it down as, he didn't really understand it.
Right.
He just wrote it in the chart for that and dismissed it and went on with his day.
Right. And I felt like it was inherent for me, that I stopped. A lot of people say, cancer patients, they're so brave. Well, my feeling is we're not all that brave. We just want to survive. And it's kind of selfish, but I wanted to see my kids grow up. I wanted to see maybe grandkids. So I knew that the chemo was very, very hard on my body. And it was depleting my platelets and my red blood cells. And it would definitely, the type of PCV chemotherapy that I was taking was really, really like, it's just a neutron bomb.
Really?
Yeah, because they thought that they were, treating this monster. So I actually got some side effects. I got what's called neuropathy, starting in my toes, and then it began in my fingers. And all the while, Al, I had been going to these very depressing survivor wellness groups. They're called the Wellness Clinic. Have you heard of that?
I believe yes.
Yeah. So you're supposed to go there with other people that have cancer, and everybody's going downhill fast. And it was so depressing, and people had advanced neuropathy where they couldn't even hold their pills. And I thought, I'm going that way. That's going to happen to me, and I'm going to be weakened, and it was just terrible. And so I said, well, this is certainly killing me. It's not really helping me. And the thought was, do whatever you can to support your immune system, right? But it seemed that the chemo was too strong, even for poly, to counteract. And I was taking poly every day.
Wow.
And so I just decided, I'm going to quit this. And that was bold and that was brave, but I was really trying to just save my own life because I didn't want to have neuropathy in my fingers. I still have some neuropathy in my toes. They get cold, they get cold really fast. And so, that damage is done. But, Poly MVA is just, it boosts the immune system. It's
that support we just talked about.
Exactly.
That regardless of which cell that it might be, if it supports all cells and is able to travel across the blood-brain barrier, which is especially unique.
Which was why it was designed, as I understand, right?
Well, it was was definitely something that Dr. Burnett wanted to be sure that it did. So, and apparently what it takes, the size of the molecule is really critical to cross that blood-brain barrier. And it doesn't let many things through, but natural supplements, such as the ingredients of Poly MVA, are able to pass through and therefore nourish and support what's in the brain as well as everything else in the body. So the upside of it is great nutritional support for all your cells. And I think that's why a lot of people ask me, well, show me how it's targeting the support of the immune system. Show me how it's targeting this. How is good nutritional food targeting the support of your body? If those are the things that it uses to fix itself, repair itself, put itself together, then ergo, it's supporting it. And if you can give it a therapeutic level of certain things at certain times, you will get certain reactions and responses. And the research is continues to show that. So it's always been, I think, our mission, and you're a great example of what you put together along with all the others, to just share that and be able to say, yeah, I did it. You did it your way. You did it her way. Everybody else did it their way. And yet, you look at the common ground between all of you, that we're doing it for yourself, about hope, and combining to what your body needed.
And I think inherent in that list is taking charge of your own health program or your own recovery. I mean, if I had just listened to, my surgeon and my chemotherapist and my radiation therapist, I would have done just those three things, and I would not be alive. I'm convinced of that anyway.
Sure. Well, you were going through it, so no one would know better than you. If you had something that you want to convey to others about your journey and your experiences, what would that be?
Well, I think first and foremost, I survived a really, really daunting diagnosis. Nobody who knew what I had would have predicted that I would be here now talking to you. And that's what I'd want to offer to anybody who despairs at possibly the ultimate cancer is a brain tumor. There is hope. I mean, people like me have survived it, and I mean, I'm 16 years out, and I feel very blessed to be able to represent that. It's kind of my way of giving back, because I've been chosen to survive, and I know people that haven't. They haven't made it, and a lot of people that are very dear to me. And I often wonder, why me? And I haven't really quite figured that out, except for I have children and all of that. But I really feel it's important to get that message out there that you can survive a brain tumor diagnosis.
And how do you feel today?
I feel good. I'm a little tired.
The family's well and everything?
Oh yeah, they're all great.
The opportunity to enjoy family and enjoy life and continue on. Well, thank you again for coming and supporting the way you do. It means a lot to me personally. I know it means a lot to everybody else here. And I hope it means a lot to anyone that might ever hear this. Like Mark said earlier, hope is a big thing. Considering you say that, I was visiting with Dr. Forsyth last week, and one of his patients had told me that when her doctor, oncologist, she was going to go see Dr. Forsyth, she says, "Why are you going to go see him? The only thing he's going to offer you is hope." Oh. And she looked at him and she said, "Exactly." He didn't realize that may be enough. And if that was enough, then I personally feel that was enough. Just the positive thought of hope can trigger.
I feel very strongly that way. If I'd positively known that zero people survived this after 6 months, I totally would have given up. I really think I would have been dead. So much of it is really energy and
power of the mind. The power of a positive thought. So well, thank you again for sharing that.
You're welcome.
If anyone listens to that or hears that, then that's the message we're trying to get across here. There's no silver bullet. There's no panacea for things, but cancer patients no doubtingly need more support than others, typically the most support. And if we can help provide that and garner some more information, and give them some opportunities, and that's what we're doing as well. So thank you again for coming out, Mark.
You're welcome,
Appreciate
man.
your time.
All right.
And, hopefully we'll come. So thanks again. Talk to you later.